today's video. I'm not sure if I'm going to be uploading Mia's room tour first or if I'm going to be uploading this, but we're going to go ahead and get started. I have some laundry right here that I need to fold, so I thought that I would fold laundry and then we would talk about what happened to Mia. And so I can't show this. So basically in the summer, Mia woke up one day just kind of feeling warm, and I kind of that day woke up before her. So she was kind of like dormida and she was like whining, but she was dormida. And then we went on with our day and she was fine. But in the morning I had given her Motrin and she was perfect, she was fine. And then usually, like you guys know, me and my parents hang out like every day. We usually go to eat together, or we eat at my parents or whatever. So then we went to my parents and we ate like regular, and then we came home because it was time for her to go to sleep, right? It was nap time. So this just came out of the laundry, out of the secadora, and they're so warm. So yeah, we came home because it was nap time, and then we both fell asleep. So then she woke up before me crying, so I felt her, and she was I felt her and she was warm. So then I took her temperature and I called my mom. Her temperature was like 103.4, I think. If you kind of want to read like the exact thing that happened, because I can't remember that like the exact details, but I did do an IG picture, a post, and I wrote everything down. And if I'm talking a little bit slow, it's because Mia fell asleep, so I don't want to wake her up, so I could do this video. So yeah, she felt warm, so I gave her Motrin, and then I called my mom and she came over so she could watch Mia while I called the doctor. Well, I finished calling her pediatrician, and and then my mom and I sat on the other couch, and my mom was like, "Daisy, the baby's kind of like shivering." And I was like, "Oh, maybe it's because she has fever, And she said, "No, I don't know, she's shivering." And then she was laying on my mom's chest, and then she kind of looked at her like, looked at her like this, and she was like all loose, and she's like, "Something's wrong with her, something's wrong with her, call your dad." And I was like, I don't know, I just started crying. And then because Mia was all loose, her eyes kind of se le iban, y estaba así como que pues toda floja, I was like, oh my gosh. And then she was kind of like gagging, like, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's not breathing, she's dying, like what's going on? Like, I didn't know. That's the first thing that I thought, like, she's dying because she has the fever. Like, what happened? Like, she wasn't responding. So my mom's like, call your dad, and I was like, no. And I grabbed my phone and we called 911. So we called 911, and I was with 911 on the phone for 10 minutes, guys, till they got here. 10 minutes, and it felt like ages. I just kept staring out the window, and then my dad got here, and we told him, my mom was telling him, because I was with the 911, and I just kept looking out the window, looking at the baby, and my dad was just kind of like wetting her feet, wetting her forehead, and till they got here. And then when they got here, they got off walking like normal, like they don't even run or anything. And when you're a parent, I don't know, it just felt like ages. And then they just came in here, and kind of that happened, and we didn't know, and I guess they knew what it was. And they the 911 person kind of heard me talking to them on the whenever they got here, and they just hung up on me. But then they got here, and we told them what had happened. They checked her temperature. She still had temperature. So then they kind of told us, hey, well, this is probably just like a febrile seizure. So that's when we found out, you know, what it was. So then we went to the doctor, we went in the ambulance straight to the children's hospital, even though it had already passed, just because the baby afterwards was just kind of like real loose, real out of it, real like, I don't know, tired, but like calm, because she even left with the paramedic, or however you say it, with the guy that comes, right? The guy carried her and put her in the little camita, and they tied her and they asked me questions. They, like, really guys, we were outside like 30 minutes, and I was like, oh my gosh, when are we gonna go? And then a few minutes when we had just gotten on the ambulance, Boo Boo called, and then I just started tearing. Like, I was like crying so ugly, you know. And then he's like, what happened? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know. Like, Mia was like, I really did think like, oh my gosh, she's dying, like she's not breathing, like she's gagging. Like, there was like a time where she was just like, you know. So, you know, that's, I thought that, and it was just so scary. And like, I still get the chills just, I'm telling you guys, because I never in a million years thought that my daughter would get a seizure, you know. And so then after, when we got to the hospital, to the children's hospital, they kind of told us what it was. They asked me what had happened. I told them. Then they told me that it was a febrile seizure, and that is very common on kids below the ages of 4 or 5, and it usually happens. And I told them, like, why did it happen? Because before, Mia has always been a healthy baby. Well, one time she got like a fever of 104, and she was fine. She was just, you know, she just had fever, but she's always been like a happy baby. And then this time she had 103 and she had a seizure. So she said it's not how much she has, it's how fast it goes up. So Mia woke up maybe just, you know, feeling a little bit sick, and then like in a matter of seconds her temperature went up, and that's whenever like things happen in your brain, kind of like a what can we call it, kind of like a, so it's my husband. So then after, oh, okay, so then after so after they told us that it was that, you know, I was thinking like, why? And like I told you guys, it's just because it went up really fast. And it doesn't matter if it goes to 106, they might not get a febrile seizure. That's why she, you know, stopped kind of like breathing, or she couldn't pass saliva or anything, because she kind of, at that time, whenever they get that, they don't know how to, I guess, you know, they don't know it, because so many things are happening with the brain that they can't breathe, they can't, you know, a lot of things. So she did tell me that whenever that does happen again, if it does happen again, to put her on her side so she won't choke on her saliva, because when they're having a seizure, a febrile seizure, and they're, you know, this young, they don't, you know, they don't know how to, you know, pass saliva and all of that. So yeah, it was very scary, and nobody in my family has a history of having seizures or none of that. So the doctors did say, like, you know, it was because of the fever, and it can happen to any child. So if it does happen to your child, because I know one of my friends sent me a message saying that it had happened to her child, just put them on their side, call 911, and yeah, like, always try to keep your baby's fever down, because Mia doesn't like Tylenol. So sometimes, well, whenever this happened, we were doing Tylenol, Motrin to keep her fever down, because, well, we didn't know where the fever was coming from. They just told me, oh, whenever, you know, it's, I told them, well, why does she have a fever? And they told me it's just probably a virus. So, it, you know, it happened because of a virus. Then a few days later, maybe like one day later, we took her again because she wouldn't sleep the whole day nor the whole night. We took care of her during the day. My mom took care of her half of the night. Then around midnight, we took her to the emergency room, and they checked her, and we told them we had been here yesterday and that the baby had a febrile seizure. So then they kind of checked her, and then we found out she had hand, mouth, and foot. So she had gotten the fever, you know, hand, mouth, and foot, but first it started with the fever. Then a few days later, she had gotten the granitos on her hands, on her feet, and on her mouth. And whenever the doctor checked her and we both saw, you know, we kind of went like that and took a glance, and we both at the same time said hand, mouth, and foot, and he said yes. It was hand, mouth, and foot, and she had gotten it from, they asked me if she was in a daycare, but she's obviously not in no daycare. And she could have gotten it from Walmart's cart, but I'm thinking she got it from this time when we went to go eat at Texas Roadhouse, because I'm always that kind of mom that's always cleaning and everything and wiping down, but this time I didn't do it, and this time when I didn't do it, that happened. So she got hand, mouth, and foot, and we didn't know because there was no, you know, nothing showing, you know. So then when she had gotten the fever, they thought it was the virus, and I thought it was the virus too, but it was actually hand, mouth, and foot that had caused the fever. And because of the fever going up so high really quick, she got a febrile seizure. So to be honest, it's one of the scariest things that have happened on my life, like of all my life. Like when you have a child, they are your #1 priority. So yeah, this was one of my scariest things that's ever happened. Mia has always been like a healthy child, but yeah, hand, mouth, and foot got her. They did say that well, my friend told me that her doctor had said that if it didn't happen within 6 months, which it happened during the summer, if it didn't happen again within 6 months, then it was likely not to happen again. And it's also likely, or not likely, but you can get hand, mouth, and foot again. So always wipe everything down, because we had to go through this because of, you know, us not being careful, not wiping down stuff. So yeah, Mia had her first febrile seizure in the summer, and yeah, it was really scary, and I really, you know, wanted to do this video just to tell you guys that it can happen to your child. I never even knew that it was. That was my first time ever finding out what it was. But yeah, my mom called them convulsiones. So that happened to her, and it was just really, really scary. Thankfully, it hasn't happened again. We don't want it to ever happen again, but like I'm telling you, it can happen to anybody. It can happen to anybody. So yeah, kind of wanted to let you guys know that. And it was just so scary, and it's just like really hard seeing your daughter go through that, because they're like really young and you don't really know, I mean, you know, they don't know how to talk or anything. So yeah, so I don't want to make it a sad video, but I just do want to let you know, guys, that it can happen to your child, and to always keep your child's fever down. You can, you know, alternate Tylenol and Motrin. I'm not your doctor, so just ask your doctor, but our doctor told us to alternate Tylenol and Motrin. We were also doing suppositories, and also doing like baths. After she had the hand, mouth, and foot, she had to do oatmeal and salt baths, or I'm not really sure, but we did do oatmeal baths, and we did do salt and bicarbonato baths, and she did lose all of her nails, and she did lose all of her toenails, and she has them back again. They grow out, but it did take forever, maybe like even 3 months, maybe like in September, October she got them back. But she did lose all of her nails and all of her toenails, and they did tell me that it could happen. So it did happen, and well, yeah, that happened. So she wasn't in any medications or anything, because it's just a virus. But you guys know viruses, you can't do nothing about it. So yeah, so every time you go play with your friends, with, you know, you have play dates or whatever, just make sure you wipe your child's hands down and wash them and everything. So we're more careful about that, and about, you know, keeping our fevers down and all of that. So yeah, and what else am I gonna say? I kind of want to do a giveaway, so I think I'm gonna go post a picture on my Instagram, and just go like it, and I'll leave down the rules, so I can go ahead and do that, because I've been having these products for the longest for you guys. And yeah, I didn't want to make it a sad video, just because, you know, it's a learning experience. It was, you know, really sad what happened, and very scary, and I'm still traumatized till this day. Like, every time that I feel like she's gonna get sick or something, or that she has fever, just think of what happened, and it just, you know, it gets me all the time. So so yeah, anyways, I do want to do a giveaway, so I might do it in my next post, so make sure you go look at that. And thank you guys so much for following me and being like really supportive, and you know, for watching my videos and for being part of my family. So yeah, I'm gonna do a giveaway. It's gonna be the Mrs Meyers cleaning supply products. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put that picture on my Instagram, so you guys can go and enter, and I hope one of you guys wins. But basically, it's just gonna be like the photo, make sure you're following me on Instagram, make sure you're a subscriber to my channel, and tag somebody on the picture. I think that's gonna be like everything. But make sure you go and check out the post once I do post it, and I will see you guys on my next video. I hope this video made sense. I know I kind of like talk way too fast, but I kind of wanted to make it a short video, not that long. Also, go read my post on my Instagram. It's Mia's Little Feet, and it happened during the summer, so it's kind of like, you know, you have to scroll down. But I will see you guys on tomorrow's video, and I hope you enjoyed this video and it was informative for you guys. And yeah, I have to go put all of this up, and I will see you guys back on my next video. Bye guys.